All right, welcome back to the fifth round of the LTC Sunday. I think with this matchup, we have the most exciting so far on cam. We have ACERERAK, piloted by James on the right side. So he's a mono black aficionado. I remember he brought this deck to Darmstadt, I think 2 years ago, somewhat around the time when ACERERAK was printed. And there's like a small French community, a couple of players that are very dedicated about the deck. You see the sleeves, ACERERAK's Tombs of Horror or something like this. And they're very dedicated about it. And he was really successful back then. He made the first place, won the entire tournament. And these days, we have a couple of more cards added to the deck. Not only that, Modern Horizons 3 and also 2 was bringing some new cards for mono black, things like Consuming Corruption, Necrodominance. And from standard sets, we have stuff like Long Goodbye and whatsoever. So overall, the card pool got better and better. While, there were also some synergy pieces printed lately. I'm talking about the Sipsig ceremony, and I think this is the card that finally made the deck much more popular than before. We've seen MTGO results and a couple of paper tournament results too. And here he's running it in his hometown against the boogeyman of the format, ROGRAKH TEVESH, piloted by Rafikh, also a well-known player. He's very talented. So both players on both sides definitely know what they're doing. I think this is quite a crazy matchup here. ROGRAKH TEVESH, on the other hand, seems to be the best Storm deck there has ever been, apart from Inalla maybe. There's a lot of debate about the deck. As we said in the latest set review, neither Samuel nor myself touched the deck so far, but I will definitely do that after our Darmstadt tournament. I just have the feeling I have to get into the deck too in order to make my own mind, but I can fairly believe that there's some stupid stuff going on. Let's have a look at the board state. So we have no cards on the right side. It seems that James is down to 2 lands only, while Rafikh already brought a Jet Medallion, Defense Grid, Soul Talisman. Fun fact is that you actually played a Soul Talisman in this deck. And we have a early TEVESH cast producing 2 Thralls. So that seems to be the thing here. We said that in a couple of videos now, I guess. It's one of the few decks that actually get to play both partners, depending on how your hand structures and where you're going against which decks you are actually playing, because that also plays a huge role, whether or not you go for an early ROGRAKH or you can grind out a game with TEVESH. In this case here, so ACERERAK is also going for a Tendrils line, or has the potential to go for a Storm line. We have a Heartless Summoning on board. Now there's a Cabal Ritual cast for a Relic of Legends. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is already a lethal combo if Rafikh has nothing to interact with that. And here we see a Crystal Vein Crack that's necessary to cast. Not to cast a Fatal Push, but in order to get rid of a permanent with Steam C2 or more. Otherwise, ACERERAK only costs 1 due to the Heartless Summoning, and it can only always tap itself for 1 black mana due to the Relic of Legends, and then you just infinitely ventured through the lost mine of Pendelhaven, something like this, I guess. And one step is that you actually drain your opponent for 1 life. You do that 20 times, and the game is over. So he successfully dealt with that, which on the other hand means he has to deal with it next turn too. That's why he is searching for more interaction. I think he found a dismember, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's up to James to just top deck more lands and see if his opponent manages to find more interaction. This member is good enough to deal with ACERERAK, quite a big creature, 5/5. So things like cut down, lightning bolts, stuff in that direction won't do the job. But I think we're in a situation at which if Rafikh finds his stuff together, he could already go for his own shenanigans next turn, maybe. And here they're having a judge call due to the defense grid. So I think he's making sure that he has to pay 3 mana without paying the life. That should not be the case. So I think he has to pay 4 life. So paying the spell, paying 3 mana for the spell, as well as 4 life, I think that's... No, actually, no, that's not the case. We have a Jet Medallion on board, so that would be 1 black mana and 2 from the defense grid and 2 life. I think that's how the spell is optimally cast in that situation. He does not have to be afraid of any respawns on the other side. Yeah, and that's actually that's what he's going to do. That's the... so he paid 2 life? I'm not sure if that's correct here. I think it is not. I think... No, never mind, guys. It's because defense grid says 3 mana, right? Not 2. My bad here. So there is the big dungeon with 7 stages. First one gains your life. Second one scries for 1. Then you can make a token or a treasure token or a 1/1 goblin, I think. Then you scry 2. Next up, I'm not sure about the right side, but the left side says you exile the top 2 cards and you can play them right away. You have to pay mana for them. 6th stage says scry 3, and the 7th, I think, you draw 3 cards. You have to reveal them, and one of them you can cast for free, not for 3. You draw 3 cards, but you can cast one of them for free. Yeah, so there are some things with which that's quite a good combo. Not only tendrils if you manage to venture through the dungeon for a couple of turns, within the same turn actually, just by paying 1 mana. And then ending up with a tendrils, for example. There's also Emrakul, which is probably the best target to go for. There might be some tutor magic or whatsoever, so there are a couple of options. On the other hand, we have the Proling that seems to be a Sokenzan token, if I'm not mistaken, because he activated it earlier in order to draw more cards with TEVESH. Probably still searching either for the win. I think there is the new or relatively new card in his hand, a 5-drop that assigns Storm to the next instant or sorcery card played. And since there is a lightning bolt in hand, this could be an interesting outcome. But with a lightning bolt and 17 HP, he only needs Storm 5. Lots of mana on board. And I think if that's a Wish Claw talisman, if I'm not mistaken. So that could search for a ritual in addition. Also reduce the cost by 1 due to the Jet Medallion. I think he could find a line here. Yeah. Going through it, calculating. I mean, both of those guys should be able to close the game in a short period of time. Not necessarily, but either one or another will go off at some point without the other one being able to interact. And here he's looking at a bonus round, it seems, not mistaken, and decides not to go for it. It's a Seething Song. Yeah, sure, why not? Adds 5 mana. Storm count is 2. And then there are probably a couple of more spells. Oh yeah, Fury. Just to have another Storm count. It's also probably the worst Fury played so far. Just to add more layers. And here we have, oh, that's a perfect outcome. So we have the Bolt, and then there's also a Flare, which is basically the 7th Lightning Bolt, if I'm not mistaken, or the 6th at least. No, it's actually 7, right? 5 copies plus 0 OG plus Flare. Yeah, so that's the win for Rafikh, 1-0. Despite the fact that James missed his, or a couple of land drops actually, not only one, he managed to assemble the combo, and, well, Rafikh had some interaction twice. Otherwise, this would be his game. And here we are starting with another Heartless Summoning. That's dangerous. And if we're looking at his hand, okay, he's having a look. Is there anything that could get me in trouble next turn? We have 2 rituals as a Rite of Flame, Cabal Ritual, Orcish Bowmaster. The gray card is a Grim Tutor, or should be. Then again, the mage that assigns Storm and a Dark Petition. So nothing to be worried about. And if I'm not mistaken, there was the Relic of Legends again in James' hand. So this could be a quick second game. Surveillant finds a card that stays on top. Or not. Maybe he's still considering. Beat Swarm, interesting include. I asked him about it. He told me that there are some enchantments to be worried about. Latest ones that are played especially to tackle combo. A Storm in particular is a 4 mana white curse that says enchanted player can only play 1 spell a turn. I'm not sure if this is the most problematic card. I doubt it. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the card due to the fact that it's sorcery speed. And if you have to deal with big targets, you lose a lot of HP. But I also have not that much of experience with it. I'm a bit eager to test the new black 2 mana Edict that exiles a graveyard. Okay, so Rafikh is going for it. We have a ROGRAKH cast. Turn 2, he knows, okay, there's a Heartless Summoning. Where there's a Heartless Summoning, there could be a game loss for this round. So I'd rather try and decide this game for myself. Rite of Flame and Infernal Plunge, I think. Definitely a good addition. Cabal Ritual, no threshold yet, but I think that's okay. Now he's left with a Storm count of 4. Going for Dark Petition would be left with 4 mana. And he could go for Yorkwill. If he goes for Yorkwill, he cannot. He has no black mana left to cast or to recast the Cabal Ritual. And the Cabal Ritual is not in. It's not even close to threshold, so this might be a bit problematic. Question it was, what is he going for with the Dark Petition? It's definitely not enough for the Tendrils line. You could think about Besiege. You have the Greater Furnace on field, which lets you cast the card immediately, but that would add up to 18 only, right? No, 16 actually. Oh, not even that. So 14, sorry. So we have one count 5 right now. That would be 6 in addition to the original copy. He goes for the Necropotus. I think that's a fair decision here. Trying to refill the hand after you couldn't finish the job. But, and here now we see the Relic of Legends in ACERERAK's hand. It just needs a land drop. It needs a land drop. And it looks like he couldn't find it. Oh, guys. That's problematic. So what else is there? I think there was a Demir Machinations. And that's a Agonizing Remorse. Yeah, a good card, I guess. Especially in this situation. So there's an Unmask, a Troll, bonus round, Thoughtseize. I think it's an Unmask, right? It looks like. Nice alteration on the Troll also. Difficult decision here. Very difficult decision. You could think about taking away the Mage, yeah, in order to deny him from finding something else next turn, because now he either has to find a Storm spell or there's an Unmask and it reveals the Relic. So Demir Machinations is a transmute spell that finds something with CMC3. Profane Tutor is another tutor. Decides to go for that. Followed up by a Grim Tutor. And again, as long as your opponent is not threatening you with infinite ACERERAK casts, which is not possible anymore because Relic is gone. Unless you have the combination of Prism Ring, for example, or Prism Ring and Carnival of Souls. I should add that. This would be the final third mana in order to loop it without losing life due to the Prism Ring, or there's also Bontu's Monument that could fix it. Yeah, interesting. I mean, then again, Rafikh has to pass the turn. Yeah, drawing another 5 cards. So right now, I still don't see a world in which James can win, but I might be wrong. It might be something that I oversee. So probably what could be an option here, I think, since Relic is gone, transmuting the Demir Machinations is not the way to go. Profane Tutor takes too much time, so I would probably just cast ACERERAK 3 times. Actually, 4 times due to the treasure token. If you venture into the big dungeon, then you can even go for 4 turns, or 4 turns within the dungeon, inside the dungeon. And next turn, you might cheese in some bigger spell. Who knows? Depending on whether or not Rafikh able to finish next turn. Dangerous looking graveyard, that's for sure. He drew a couple of cards with Necropotence already. Almost twice his starting hand, I think. Not exactly. 9 or 10 cards, something like this. But yeah, he's taking a longer pause to consider what is the best line. If it wasn't for the Storm deck he plays against, you could also think about Demon Machinations into Sipsix Ceremony to create a couple of tokens, but I think that's just too slow. So the way to go here should be casting ACERERAK, at least from my opinion. But again, I don't have as much experience as he does with the pile. What else is there? I mean, no matter what you search with the machinations, it would end up in a spell that you can cast next turn at best, so doesn't do the job now. And it seems that he's looking at his dungeons. Oh, that's also an option, right? He could also go for the Tomb of Annihilation just because he looks at it. Yeah, I think that's actually that's a brilliant one. So going for the dungeon that you usually do not enter because the last stage would leave ACERERAK on the battlefield. I think the second one says discard a card, sacrifice a land, sacrifice a creature. And the third one actually creates a 4/4 token, and ACERERAK stays on board. So with only 3 HP left, Rafikh would have to deal with 2 creatures in order to not die. And he can also not make use of the Necropotence anymore. So he has to have something in that turn. Skipping the draw step, just to remind you. Interesting. This is I'm not sure how many times you encounter a situation in which you decide to do that, but definitely a creative way. That's again showing you should always consider all the possibilities to finish a game. I've seen players that didn't even brought the third dungeon because usually you do not venture into it, but here it shows you that sometimes it can be the winning line too. Very interesting. So I only saw a grief. There's a Badlands. Yeah, that's difficult. So if grief is the best blocker he can play, and it seems that that's the case, that is a win for James. And we're moving over to the third turn. What looked impossible to win. No, not impossible, but quite hard after missing the land drop, turned into a victory for ACERERAK, at least for the second game. Now it's 1-1. And here we have the new Skull Clamp on stick, on a spell. Actually, I'm missing the name, but it's from Dragonstorm, the latest Tarkias set. Yeah, quite a good combination with ROGRAKH. It's the third Village Rites the deck can play. Here we have a Wishclaw Talisman turn 2. On the other side, a Candy Trail. Cool card. I really like it. Fits the deck very well, I would say. Drawing cards and gaining life. Stalls the game against aggressive strategies. And there's a Peatbog, followed by another ROGRAKH cast. Yeah, and 23 HP means you need to cast 2 more spells in order to go off with your Stormline. We have a Yorkmoth Will, which will be the target. Fury and Unmask. And he pitched a Necro Dominance. Probably because there's a Necropotence in hand. Okay, yeah, that was my guess. Seemed to be the case. We also have a Shred Memory Cabal coffers, and a Cabal Ritual. So looking at the hands, both players share a fair amount of cards. Here we have a cool alteration. This is a reference to the card that's also played in pre-modern or old school, right? Something with Shazam. You might know better, chat. Or listeners can tell me. I will check later. Samuel would definitely know. So, drawing 7 cards. 6 cards, actually, end of turn. Yeah, I mean, if there's enough life to pay, you can afford to draw more cards and sort out the bad ones, go for more quality, digging deeper in order to find your line. I'm not quite sure. There is an Unmask on the other side. Collective Brutality, Grim Tutor. There's the Bontus Monument, Jet Medallion, and Cabal Ritual. Warborg and Cable Coffers, definitely a great combination. Yeah, the question is if James, he will not draw a card next turn, so is the decision to play the Cabal Coffers and basically don't get additional mana for that turn? Or will he play the Urborg and grant Rafikh to not sacrifice the Peatbog? That's one of the minor decisions. One of the bigger decisions is, aren't we just going for the Grim Tutor here? The lineup is a bit, and he does go for the Cabal Coffers. That's good, I think. And then probably going for the Grim Tutor, searching. Okay, he's going to double spell. That's probably even better. Yeah, just trying to control or having a look at what your opponent is planning. Going to refill the hand at end of turn. You still have the tutor. Next turn you have Urborg, a bunch of mana. I think, depending on what he drew right now, he can even close the game next turn. Grim Tutor costs only 2 black. Heartless Summoning would cost only 1 black. So that's 3 in total. He has 5, 6, 7 mana next turn available. If it's a DT, might be a thing with Relic. Apart from that, will be tough. I mean, Spirit Guide and Fury, on the other hand, is not what you're looking for. Unless you have a line to finish with the Wishflow Talisman. But with only 3 cards in hand, it doesn't seem to be the case. At least I would not expect it. I'm just having a look. So 4 cards exiled due to the Necropotence. Graveyard is not fueling itself anymore. So the Cabal Ritual will stay at 3 mana only, but thanks to the Jet Medallion, it's another Dark Ritual. I didn't even think about that. So I hope he drew some tutors maybe. So 1 additional tutor would seal the deal here, right? Unless Rafikh has some instant speed interaction again. So he's thinking about what to do and what not to do. We see a Hymn to Turak, if I'm not mistaken. This seems to be another judge call, or is he just thinking about what to do or what not to do? I mean, there are Nyx returns. This seems, or this should be either the first one or the second one, and they forgot about the dice. So here's the Grim Tutor, searching for something. Maybe he can also find a Tendrils line. Then again, the Grim Tutor should be exiled, if I'm not mistaken, due to the Necropotence. He could also go for Relic and then have just paying 1 mana for the ACERERAK casts. But I think he searched for Heartless Summoning. So now you can add another 5. To 7. Okay, there's the Heartless Summoning. Ah, okay. Now with 6 mana, you can venture once through the whole dungeon due to the treasure token. So gaining a life. So it seems that he just wants to take the chance. And why would you not? Oh, he's going for the token? No, for the treasure token. Okay. That's the left side. I said the left side earlier. I thought it was the right side. We have a Scry 2. The next one, I'm not even sure what the right side is doing. Producing some tokens, I think, that died due to the Heartless Summoning. And then, oh, okay, guys, that's a crazy finish. Yeah, I think that's CG. Like just casting Emrakul, controlling Rafikh's next turn, and there's enough. Yeah, there are enough shenanigans to do. I'm not sure if the deck plays Toxic Deluge. Maybe, maybe not. If that's the case, you can just search for it and cast it for x equals 19. But even if not, you just pitch the Fury and kill your ROGRAKH and get rid of 1 land, and he's left with no cards. So it's very unlikely to get rid of that, or to get out of the situation overall. And then you have to face a 13/13 on the other side of the board. James would have 8 more mana, I think, in order to go through the other dungeon 2 times. So at least 15 damage. That's rough. That's definitely rough. But a really nice game, I have to say. Was quite enjoyable to cast that. I hope you also enjoyed it. And we will be back with round 6. I have no idea what matchup it will be. And if I would know, I would not tell you. So just tune in again. Thanks for being with us, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.